Welcome to Replayability. This video is about something a bit more simple than my other analysis videos, but I still want to talk about it. First of all, I would like to talk about the problems of the old perk systems so that I can give anyone who doesn't know the necessary context to understand Cold War's improvements. However, if you already have that context and you've been a fan of zombies for a while, then by all means skip ahead in the video. I have chapters laid out pretty nicely so that you can skip around through the video and skip to points that will interest you more than stuff you already know. So go down the description and click a timestamp, or just click one of the segments that looks interesting to you in the progress bar at the bottom of your screen. Starting back in World at War's Nazi Zombies, a simple but effective perk system was established. Each player could choose from the perks on each map, but each player was limited to 4 perks at a time. The basics of this perk system continued through the series until Black Ops 4. On paper, this was a great way to have variety in each match, where each player could choose unique perk combinations and have a more varied experience each match, or even in between each time they went down. On the battlefield, however, although the variety was in fact there, it was mostly drowned out by the excessive use of crutch perks. Most players would buy Juggernog first, and then follow that in any order with 3 of these 4 perks: Speed Cola, Double Tap 2.0, Stamina Up, or Quick Revive on solo specifically. Also, depending upon the game and map, add in Widow's Wine and Vulture Aid to those crutch perks. Don't get me wrong, perks like Mule Kick, PhD Flopper, Electric Cherry, and a few others were popular. In fact, depending upon who you asked, Mule Kick or PhD Flopper might also be a crutch perk, but the point is, in most matches, most players used their own crutch perks, whatever combination of those I listed it may be. So the attempt at variety actually played out as repetitiveness. The good part, though, is that, well, no one cared. Most people still loved the World at War through Black Ops 3 perk system. It was simple and the perks were endearing, each with their own personality, and they got the job done. This perk system really did not need to be fixed. It wasn't perfect, but it was more than acceptable. Leave it to Black Ops 4 to fix something that isn't broken. Black Ops 4 completely recreated the perk system by limiting the maps to only 4 perk machines that you could customize which perks you wanted to be in each machine in your out-of-game loadouts. The changes were an attempt to eliminate crutch perks, so naturally they completely removed the most prominent crutch perk, Juggernog, and compensated by simply making the players have more health, like a permanent Juggernog in every single match. However, the fanbase was very upset to see that their favorite perk had been removed. The second most used crutch perk was also removed, Speed Cola, and was replaced by a speed reload boost when you have purchased all 4 perks. Again, the fans were not happy. The only good change in this regard was Quick Revive, which lost the self-revive capabilities on solo but stayed as a perk in the game. Its self-revive aspect was replaced by built-in self-revives when playing solo, completely separated from any perks. From the standpoint of Quick Revive, it allowed for massive improvement. Quick Revive was no longer the crutch perk of solo, but also aimed to be more useful for reasons other than just reviving other players. In other words, it became more useful for solo use, and also was no longer a crutch perk for solo. In my opinion, both Quick Revive and Deadshot Daiquiri changed for the better. Back to the negatives though. It was jarring to come from Black Ops 3, where one of the most fun goals for me in a match was to get every perk on the map without using Perkaholic. Just the event of getting more than 4 perks in general was very fun, especially since it could be challenging to do sometimes because of the less conventional methods of doing so, like the unquenchable gobblegum that I used a lot. Black Ops 3 custom maps took pride in just raising or entirely removing the perk cap. Then Black Ops 4 pushed us back to having 4 perks with none of them having any personality anymore. Not to mention that you had to stick with the 4 perks you picked for each match, because no matter what you did, you couldn't change what perk was in the machine mid-match. The saddest part of all of this is that it didn't even accomplish the goal, because Dying Wish became the new Juggernog crutch perk, and other perks such as Mule Kick and Time Slip simply filled in the other 3 perk slots as crutches. So how do Black Ops Zombies perk systems move forward from here? How do you fix both the crutch perk problem and the issues in the Black Ops 4 perk system? First, I need to explain variety and replayability, which is not an official term, I don't think, but is simply how I am referring to this major factor of the Zombies games. Variety and replayability of these games is the ability of a single map to give you a unique experience each time you play it. This is a major factor in the Call of Duty Zombies games because by nature, you are playing the same maps over and over again. Those maps have to be able to give you as much of a unique experience as possible with each replay. Ironically, Cold War's answer for the past perk system issues involves reducing the variety and replayability of the new perk system. To be more specific, Cold War abandoned the long-term variety in perks by eliminating the perk cap. Now, in each match, no matter what perks you choose to buy, when you have yourself a full perk setup, you will always have the same perk setup. That makes for less high-round replayability, but Raven and Treyarch implemented this change exceptionally well. To be clear, Black Ops 3 had the same problem as far as the all perks perk setup existing, especially in custom maps, so Cold War is not doing anything too bad in comparison. However, Cold War prevents you from reaching that full perk setup for longer than Black Ops 3 does by slowing your purchases with increasing prices. The first perk you buy will be 2,500 points, but the perk's prices increase by 500 points for each perk you own. This means in order to get all 7 perks, you have to spend 28,000 points, and assuming they continue the pattern with the next 3 perks to be added in, by the 4th DLC perk edition, it will cost 47,500 points to get all 10 perks. And upon downing, you lose all other perks besides the first 3 that you purchased, which means you would have to spend another 38,500 points to get all 10 again if you got revived immediately after downing and didn't lose more perks. This is well designed so that even though having 10 perks will always be the same, it is not an easy task and it is very punishing to the player if they go down, forcing them to redo the difficult process. Now eventually it may not matter when you have a million points stocked up on round 500 or something, but the average player, including myself, will rarely have a match where they can easily maintain having all 10 perks when going down even just a few times. Of course, all of that would just make it difficult to keep your perks if there was no variety as well. So where does this perk system's variety come in? It shows itself when you are trying to build your full perk setup. The order that you buy the perks in is what matters here. Now again, on high rounds this doesn't matter. If you lose all your perks on round 100 and you have 50 grand to spare, buying all 10 perks in whatever order is utterly and completely unimportant. However, in the setup of each map, this makes a big difference because you do not have 50,000 points to spare, or even 20,000 or 10,000 depending upon what round you're on. In the early and mid-match, you are buying these perks from round to round or multiple rounds apart, while saving up money to buy that whopping 5 grand perk and trying to get a Pack-a-Punch level 2 on one of your guns at the same time, or something like that. So you make decisions of what perks you want to buy next based on which ones you're willing to stick with for a while. So yeah, the crutch perk reappears here a little. Players will have a preference of what perks to buy first, but believe it or not, I have personally found myself multiple times not buying Juggernog first. Whoop-de-doo, big deal, why does that matter? It matters because, dare I say it, Juggernog is no longer the top dog perk. More accurately, it is no longer the only top dog perk. The creators of Cold War have done some incredible work, making the other perks like Speed Cola, Stamina Up, Quick Revive, and even Deadshot Daiquiri much more useful. And with the game mechanics as a whole, it almost seems like Juggernog is not always the first perk purchased. Factually speaking, there is no way around it. Getting straight up more health is probably the best upgrade you can get in zombies, period. Taking more hits before you die is the best help you can get, objectively speaking. But thanks to armor now existing in the game, you can get some armor and maybe buy some Speed Cola, Stamina Up, Quick Revive, Elemental Pop, Deadshot Daiquiri, or Tombstone first before Juggernog. And yes, I just listed every single perk in Cold War so far because I have willingly, and not just from curiosity but because I genuinely wanted to, started matches by buying each of those perks first. Yes, I cannot believe I am saying this, but even Tombstone. It is by no means one of the better perks of Cold War, but even it is quite useful. Now there are at least 3 more perks yet to be added, so we will see if all perks in the game continue to be useful, but so far, I can easily say that there are no useless perks currently in Cold War, and the perks are overall much more balanced than ever before. So how did it solve crutch perks?
And when everyone's super, no one will be.
If every perk is obtainable, then all of them will get used. Juggernog might still be preferred over Quick Revive, but who cares? You'll get to buying Quick Revive sooner or later. There is no way to truly eliminate preferred perks, but they have reduced the effect they have on each game, especially since all of the perks seem much more equally useful. I really don't know if anyone can disagree with me when I say that, objectively speaking, the Cold War perk system is superior to the Black Ops 4 perk system. Although if you disagree, you are of course entitled to your opinion, but I just don't know of anyone who would disagree with that statement. When I say that Cold War saved the Zombies perk system, I don't necessarily mean that it's better than the original, but that it pulled the perk system out of the hole that Black Ops 4 dug for it. Because in the end, it is up to personal opinion if the perk system is better than the original, or even the Black Ops 4 perk system. But at the very least, it seems like this perk system is one that most of the community can enjoy, or at least take for granted as opposed to disliking it. And I think that is a big accomplishment for a Black Ops Zombies perk system. It's an accomplishment that, yes, the first perk system had already accomplished, but it's good to see that this perk system has accomplished the same thing. Also, I would like to point out that Tombstone is actually an improved Who's Who now, except with some original Tombstone spice in there. I think it is the best thing that could have happened to the perk, honestly. If you have anything you want to add, then please do so in the comments. There's a lot that I've said in this video, and I'm sure that I've missed some important details about one of the perk systems, or about any perk specifically. Whether or not it pertains to the topic of this video, if there's something that you want to add, then go ahead and drop a comment and say anything that you'd like about the subject. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, then consider liking and subscribe to see more content like this. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk with you in the next one.